to ensure as more Kenyans as possible also get good jobs. We are not pushing for Kenyans to access unskilled labor jobs in the international labor market, but also professionals in Kenya who can go out there, get know-how, and bring it back home. But most importantly also to make savings so that they can come back home and invest. So this is the beginning of a journey with the media houses so that we can partner with you to appraise Kenyans on a structured and organized way that they can access these international jobs and they don't end up being swindled of their hard-earned money. It is wrong for any Kenyan to end up with a job that is extremely wanting out there. We want Kenyans to get good jobs, and we want to safeguard their interests. We want to safeguard their rights, and that is the reason why we've met this morning.
Any strategies you put in place just to make sure they get this job in a safe environment, and to also do away with these dubious agencies that are hiring them from the country?
So one of the strategies we have in place is to create awareness so that Kenyans know what is this structured and organized way that we are talking about for them to access these jobs. We have the National Labor Mobility Policy that we have formulated. We have the Labor Migration Bill that we are pushing for, which also includes a welfare fund that will take care of them just in case they get into a distressing situation. We can then be able to bring them back home safely without any challenge, and even their family members in case they have migrated with their family members. So these are some of the strategies we have in place. We are coming up with a skills development strategy on labor mobility so as to guarantee our young people employment at the end of their course. It's extremely immoral for a young person to go through university training for 4 years, pursuing a course that will not guarantee you employment at the end of it. And therefore, once we realize where there are gaps in terms of the demand for jobs and the supply, we're able to inform curriculum immediately, and we change curriculum so as to teach courses that will guarantee our young people employment at the end of their course. The policy that I talked about is how to guarantee the rights of Kenyans while they are working abroad. I think that is what you're making reference to. And what we have in mind is we want to send young lawyers, legal minds, smart young lawyers, to study the legal frameworks that obtain in the countries of destination, particularly the ones that are very popular with Kenyans, and to make use of that same legal framework to guarantee our young people their rights. And we've seen other countries have been able to do it, so we will be sending some legal minds to Saudi Arabia and the GCC countries, because, ladies and gentlemen of the press, you must appreciate that when it comes to diaspora remittances, the highest amount comes from USA. The second highest amount comes from Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries. So these are countries of destination that are popular with Kenyans, and there's no way we can stop Kenyans from accessing some of these jobs, not only domestic work, but also for professionals. And that's the reason why we are pursuing a bilateral labor agreement that is not only human rights based, but that will cater for the rights of professionals who are migrating to these countries of destination. So that is number one. But secondly, one other policy that we are coming up with is to deploy as many labor attaches as possible who will be able to follow Kenyans as in terms of the geographical location where they are working and get to know of their welfare nearly on a daily basis, and allow these Kenyans who possibly at one time or another find themselves in a distressing situation to reach out to a government officer who will be able to address their issues in a comprehensive way. It doesn't have to be physical abuse alone. We also have to cater for their needs in terms of time for rest. How many hours do they work in a day? How many days in a week are they supposed to work? So some of their benefits have to be guaranteed.
Sure. Then you can tell us why we're here, then we possibly ask 2 or 3 follow-up questions, and that's it.
Okay, great, yeah.
Kosawa?
Should I start? Okay, my name is Aida Awad. I'm a Chief Technical Advisor on Labor Migration. I manage a program called Better Regional Migration Management Program, funded by the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. I cover 7 countries in Eastern Horn of Africa, Kenya being one, but Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda.
So tell us the reason as to why we're here today.
Why we're here today is basically to work with the media, to engage the media in terms of the current dynamics on labor migration in Kenya, so that the media make sure that they report fairly on labor migration issues, because it's not always clear. There's issues of trafficking, the smuggling, the labor migration. There's of course refugees, asylum seekers. There's different contexts of migration which sometimes get mixed up. So we want to provide that clarity in terms of what is labor migration, what is the government of Kenya doing in terms of labor migration, what is the ILO doing in support of labor migration governance in the country as well as a bit in the region, but as well as to get key data, statistics on labor migration in the region generally. And of course, Kenya have a regional as well as global commitment that they have made as Kenyan that the media needs to be aware of, so that you report fairly and accurately.